Time is the most valuable commodity we as people have today. It is so valuable because everything in life benefits from time. If you look at a relationship, for example, the more time that gets put into that relationship, the better it's going to be. The more time you spend doing exercise or at the gym, the healthier and fitter you'll become. The more time you spend reading a book or studying, the smarter and more knowledgeable you'll become. It affects every aspect of our lives in such a profound way, yet most of us have no idea how to manage it properly. How many of you have had those mornings when your alarm just goes beep, beep, beep off in your ears, and all you want to do is roll over and hit snooze? All while the things that you had to do that day start circling around in your head, building up stress before your day has even started. Especially in today's society, where companies care more about deadlines and turnovers than their employees' mental well-being. I know exactly how all of these things feel. I have felt like workloads and stress have been eating me alive before. But this all changed one day early in 2015 when my older brother Dylan went into high school. I noticed one morning that when I was in my frantic rush of getting ready in the morning, eating breakfast, putting on my uniform, Dill wasn't there. He had actually left an hour before I had even thought of rolling out of my bed to go to gym. Now, at the time, I didn't know what the point of any of this was. I didn't know what disease Dylan had picked up that was preventing him from enjoying his sleep. But what I did know is that I had a job to do. I was his younger brother. It's the number one job of any younger sibling in the world, and that is to copy your older sibling. So that's exactly what I did. Well, almost exactly. Me being 12 years old at the time, I couldn't really be walking into the gym with all the half-man, half-boy high school students. So what I did instead was I took this time in the morning and I woke up at 6 a.m. I'd take the time to do my own exercises, whether it was push-ups, pull-ups, skipping, really anything I could think of. One morning, I even came to the realization that I could use this time to catch up on some work. I could use it to study for that test or exam. I could catch up on any homework I'd missed out on. It was amazing. It felt like I'd unlocked an extra hour into my day. Before 2015, I was an average academic and probably below average sportsman. 4 years later, I'm not only doing much better academically, I'm also the captain of the under-16A rugby side at my school. All while feeling a lot more on top of my life and less stressed out with everything. But how does such a small amount of time make such a big difference? How can only 1 hour in the morning be so life-changing? I've told you how I've gone from being an average person, achieving average things, to achieving goals and dreams of mine that I've had all of my life. I'll explain it to you. For most people, when they get home from work, the only thing they feel like doing is relaxing. You don't feel like reading that book. You don't feel like going to the gym or exercising. And you definitely don't feel like working more. So where do you fit these things in? Well, there's two options. You could either neglect these things and say you'll do it tomorrow or later, or you could make the time. In the morning, before your day has even started. Even if this means sacrificing that hour or two to go to bed a bit earlier the evening before. So now, how do you convince your brain that waking up before the sun rises will, contrary to popular belief, not actually kill you? Well, having done it myself over the past few years, I picked up on a few tips and tricks that I'd like to share with you tonight. Firstly, Write down exactly what you want to get done the next morning. Whether it's to read 10 or 20 pages of that book you've been meaning to get to do 45 minutes of exercise, or even something as simple as sitting somewhere and meditating for 20 minutes. It doesn't matter what you write down, as long as you're specific. It just means the next morning you'll have a bit more motivation to get these goals done. Secondly, for those of you who use your phone alarms to wake up in the morning, I seriously encourage you to go out and look into investing in an alarm clock. This might seem like we're literally moving backwards with technology, but what it means is you can now charge your phone in a completely different room. When your alarm goes off in the morning, you won't be enticed by things like social media and games. You won't waste your hour in the morning. You can use it on the productive goals you had set for yourself. It also completely takes away any risk of phone radiation while you're sleeping. And then lastly, and probably the most helpful in my experiences, put your alarm clock on the opposite side of your room. This means that when you wake up in the morning and you hear that beep, beep, beep from earlier, you have to physically get out of your bed to go and turn it off. It takes away the hardest part of getting up early, the actual getting up. For those of you who are going to go out and try waking up a bit earlier, the first few days, weeks, and months, you won't even feel like getting out of your bed. This is where I encourage you to dig deep and push through it. Try your hardest. Despite what I've just told you though, if you do ever oversleep or break your routine, don't ever feel angry or frustrated at yourself. It defeats the whole object of trying to make your life less stressful. Just take a deep breath, get through the day, and get right back on your 5 a.m. horse the next morning.